Hello, everybody. Welcome back to LHS Media. I'm Max.
And I'm Scott.
So we're going to be going over the Super Bowl and the NFL offseason, just talking about it. So you want to start us off?
Yeah, sure. So, you're an what are you?
Eagles fan. Yeah, that's right. What about you?
I'm a Ravens fan.
Okay. So offseason's coming up. I think that when it starts is March 6th. Do you want them to get anybody? Do you want them to re-sign anybody? Like, are you looking for something specific that you want to happen for the Ravens?
I do want them to re-sign Darius Washington, the safety. He's small. He's one of the smallest players in the league, but he's got some of the best integrity in the whole league, in my opinion. And he's gonna be a star next year.
Do you think that, excuse me, you guys had some safety troubles, also receiver troubles? Do you like Cooper Kupp's on the market? There's another big one. T. Higgins is probably going to be on there. They might franchise tag him, but like, do you want anybody like a receiver?
I do. I definitely do. I feel like if the Ravens get a slightly above average receiver, that'd be a lot better.
I
Maybe
agree.
something like, I don't know, yeah, Cooper Kupp, even Tyreek Hill. That's a stretch, but I know he might be on the market.
I mean, Zay Flowers is good, but like he's
Yeah.
not like a star-studded receiver.
Yeah, and that's their only one. I guess they got Rashad Bateman.
Bateman's good. I like
Yeah.
Bateman. I think he's better than Flowers.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay. For the Eagles, I mean, excuse me, obviously I don't want the Commanders to end up with Myles Garrett. So I'm hoping that we do, but if we don't, which I really do think we will because we're losing Josh Sweat this year, we're losing Milton Williams is probably gone. I hope we get Garrett. I think Garrett would add a lot to our team, and like pairing Jalen Carter with Myles Garrett is one of the greatest like D lines you could have in the NFL as of right now. So be a big one for us. And then obviously Zach Bond needs to be re-signed. He's the linebacker. That dude he went crazy this year. He earned the paycheck that he's gonna get. And I'd like to get Sweat and Williams back, but like it just sucks that they need the money really bad. So that's pretty much it for us. But yeah, I mean it's
Yeah, so for the Ravens also, definitely secondary help is needed. I feel like they're gonna draft somebody, definitely defensive.
okay.
Maybe either like an outside linebacker or a safety, or a cornerback.
I think that for the draft, I don't think the Eagles are actually going to stay where they are. They're at 32. Obviously, they won the Super Bowl. I think they're either going to trade up, put some. Bryce Huff played terrible for them. He's much better in a different defense. He's not good in this Fangio blitzing zone coverage sort of defense. So I think that they're going to trade him to a younger team that just wants the pieces. And the Eagles are going to try and move up all the way into the top 10 so they can land Abdul Carter. And if that doesn't happen, then I think they're going to get Myles Garrett. I think the Eagles will end up this offseason with Myles Garrett or Abdul Carter.
Yeah, I like Abdul Carter a lot as a Penn State fan myself.
Yeah, I mean, he's crazy.
He's going to be one of the best in the
I
league.
also think that if the Eagles don't end up with him, he'll go to Philly. Like once his rookie contract's over, like he'll probably love where he is, and I'm sure he'll be on like. I mean, he won't be on Tennessee. He won't be on the Giants. He might end up on the Browns because they're losing Garrett. So if he ends up on the Browns, he ends up on the Browns. I think that he'll love Cleveland because that'll be his team. That's where he got picked. But that guy does not want to play anywhere other than Philly.
Yeah, and I stayed in Pennsylvania for college.
Yep, he grew up an Eagles fan. I mean, he's made for Philadelphia.
Yeah, definitely.
Let's see who else. Let's talk about number one pick real quick because the Titans are now. We just saw open to trading the number one pick.
Yeah.
If they do trade it, which I don't know why they would, they're looking for the future. They don't want to win right now. They can't win right now.
Yeah, they don't have a team to win right now.
So if they're trading, they should trade with another team in the top three, try and get a star out of it. So like if I'm like Cleveland per se, they might think like, we need a quarterback, and they do. Jameis Winston's not going to cut it for a couple more years, but like he's good. I mean, he'll be good for 2 or 3 more years, but after that, that's it for him. And then, so they're probably looking like, okay, Ward, Sheduer, Travis Hunter, all those guys would make differences on our team immediately. Like it wouldn't even be a thought, right?
Yeah.
For any of those teams, the Giants, the Titans, or the Browns. But the Browns need a receiver, but Travis Hunter wants to play corner. So if you're the Browns, what are you supposed to do?
That's a good one. So yeah, they need wide receiver. They need help in a lot of spots, definitely now. Defense, losing Myles Garrett. Offense, all they really got on offense is Jerry Jeudy, and then Nick Chubb is falling off.
Yeah, and I mean Judy is very good as a receiver, but he's also only it's kind of like Tyler Lockett is what he reminds me of. One big game, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah, he's not the star. He needs someone above him to help him.
And if you're the Giants, right, you don't want to trade that pick. You are getting a phenomenal quarterback out of this draft. This draft has some of the best quarterbacks in a hot minute.
Yeah.
Which is why guys like Drew Aller stayed back. They want to be up there. Because Aller would have gone late first round. Aller wants to go first overall, right?
Uh-huh.
And the Giants are going to end up with Sheduer or Cam Ward. That's what's going to happen. And I think they'll end up with Sheduer no matter who's on the board. But bottom line is they're getting a good quarterback to pair with Neighbors, and they have Tyron Tracy, who looks like second coming of Saquon Barkley.
Yeah.
And obviously their defense. I mean, we don't talk about their defense enough. They have Brian Burns, Dexter Lawrence, a couple guys off the edge that are really good. I mean, the defensive line for them is phenomenal, but they just need some offensive pieces, and getting rid of Daniel Jones was a huge step in their franchise.
Yeah, 100%. I think they draft a quarterback this year. They'll figure it out eventually. Then next year, they'll probably still have pretty bad record still. So they draft again. They get a defensive player or an offensive player.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
obviously.
Yeah. Okay, so moving on, because that's pretty much all we have for the drafts. Because not much to talk about other than those top 3 picks in our teams. The Super Bowl. The Eagles win. They beat KC. They stopped the three-peat. It's a big deal. That is the second time. As an Eagles fan, I know this. That's the second time the Eagles have stopped the three-peat. They stopped Brady in 17 through 19, and then they stopped KC, obviously, this year. On the verge of history, KC crumbles. So next year, if we're looking at Kansas City, obviously they have Patrick Mahomes. That dude's a winner. There's a couple guys like that in this league. There's, Patrick Mahomes, Jalen Hurts. They know how to play big games. Josh Allen can get up there. Lamar can get up there most of the time. But the best team in the NFL next year is going to be a really weird thing.
Yeah,
because so many teams from this year were just so surprising.
So much potential.
Absolutely. The Commanders, huge potential. Just numbers upon potential. I think they're going to land Cooper Kupp or some big receiver this offseason. Yeah. And if Daniels gets McLaurin and Kupp, that's Jalen Hurts with A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith.
Yeah, exactly.
But, who do you think going into next season, let's do top 5 teams.
Going into the season or at the end of the season?
No, we're going to go into the season, then we'll talk about who we think will win the Super Bowl.
So, obviously, you got to go Eagles-Chiefs going into the season.
Okay.
I'd say Lions.
Okay, Lions, yeah.
Lions as well. Commanders, I guess.
Okay, Commanders.
Teams that made the conference. And then I'd say I feel like the Bills.
Yep, the Bills. I think Bills and Ravens are interchangeable.
Yeah.
I would agree with all that. I think that personally, I want to put. I know I said 1 through 5. I think the Texans are 6, and I think the Chargers are going to be 7.
I agree.
I love
the
Chargers.
Have a lot of potential.
Absolutely.
Justin Herbert, such an underrated QB.
Mm.
We're not going to talk about that playoff game where he threw 4 interceptions.
The kid had Lad whatever his name is, Lad. I guess I'll just call him Lad.
Yeah.
He's great. Lad is great. He will be a great receiver for years to come for Herbert. But again, it seems like all these good teams are missing that one offensive piece. For the Eagles, great team, right? 2 years ago, they went to the Super Bowl. They lost to KC 38-35 in just straight shootout.
Yeah.
And they were missing Saquon. That was their piece. They missed Saquon, and they didn't have a guard, and that was Mekhi Becton. So when you look at the Eagles, they added 2 pieces who were doubted on offense. Nobody wanted them because they hadn't proved themselves at all. They added those pieces, and they were some of the best in the NFL.
Yeah.
So the Eagles are the home for underdog players who have nowhere to go, or I don't want this to sound rude, but literal criminals. If Jalen Carter, nobody believed in him, right? Mm-hmm. He was a criminal. He made a really bad decision. Obviously it was just a terrible decision. And Philly took a chance on him. Philly said, "Get your act together, or we're going to release you. You will never be signed anywhere." Nobody wanted Jalen Carter. The Eagles took a chance. They ended up with a really a genuine guy who's actually nicer and realizes the mistake he made now. and he's good. He's good at football.
Yeah.
So if there was a team like that, other than Philly, which I feel like Baltimore's one of them, Washington's slowly becoming one. Like, who ended up there? The one that takes me back was Curtis Samuel and Alex Smith.
Jamison Crowder, too.
Jamison Crowder, that's a good one, yeah. No, but Washington's like that. I think teams that are like that are the ones that actually win games.
Yeah.
You have to be able to take a chance, or else you're never going to win.
That's also like the coaching staff.
Yep.
Getting them up there, those players have confidence. Knowing who to just play.
Yeah. So, I think after the season, Super Bowl champion, I think the appearance will be made by the Eagles. I think the Eagles look to go back-to-back.
Yeah, I don't see anyone in that NFC stopping them, really.
I think that the only team that would stop them would be Detroit.
Yeah.
And then I think close second would be Commanders.
Mm-hmm. That's just a divisional matchup. It's going to be close.
Yeah, it's always going to be close. I mean, granted, the NFC Championship this year was terrible. They did not play good at all. But if you really look at it, it's a divisional matchup. The Cowboys could go toe-to-toe with the Eagles. If the Eagles were 16-0 and the Cowboys were 0-16, like, it's just how it's going to work, right?
It's also like the Ravens division.
Yeah, with the Browns.
The Ravens will lose to the Browns any day.
Yep, they will. Any division anywhere. I mean, it's a divisional game. There's more on the line. There's a lot more, competitive spirit between fans, and it riles up the players. It's just, but I really do think that the Lions are the number one threat. That defense, man, was something before they all got hurt. So I'm excited to see like a real matchup. I hope that opening night is Philly versus Detroit. That would be something that everybody would watch.
Yeah, 100%.
So I think the Eagles go back to the Super Bowl. I really think. I know they weren't in my top 5. I don't even know if they're in my top 10. The Bengals will go back.
They're definitely coming back with vengeance. They're going to make the playoffs for sure.
100%.
They're just a playoff team.
They are a playoff team.
Built for the playoffs. When he makes it there.
Anybody that watches baseball knows they're like the Padres. They're not built for the regular season, but
once they make the playoffs,
you make the playoffs. You have a bunch of experienced guys who have literally been to the Super Bowl, played for a Super Bowl, kind of like the Eagles, same type of deal. They want it more. I mean, they would want that game more than anybody.
Yeah, 100%.
I think that it would be total shootout. Like Joe Burrow and Jalen Hurts going at it is something that everybody would watch.
Yeah.
And I think that the Eagles would come out of that game. I think the Eagles go back-to-back. It's a little biased, but that team is just going to be so good for like the next 2 or 3 years.
That's like the next franchise team.
Yep.
They beat Kansas City. I feel like they got the upper edge over Kansas City if they rematch in the Super Bowl again.
Yep.
I feel like Kansas City in these next couple of years, they're still going to be good. I don't know about many more Super Bowl appearances or wins for them.
Yep.
That might be the end of their dynasty right there.
I don't know about the end of their dynasty because you look at their coaches. Like Andy Reid is one of the best coaches ever, and Mahomes is exceptional. So I think that's all. Oh wait, no, we got one more. The rule changes. So they added cap space. You saw the other day they added cap space to teams. I think it was $25 million. That helps so many teams out, but in a bad way for a lot of other teams, like the Eagles. I know I keep going back to the Eagles and going back to the Eagles, but they were the story this year. And Mekhi Becton's going to want money. He's one of the best guards in the NFL. He's going to want a lot of money. He proved himself. He knows what he wants. I think he wants to stay in Philly, but you never know. They leave for the money. They always do. It's just what happens.
Yeah.
Mekhi Becton, he wants the money, right? Josh Sweat wants money. He's not even going to stay in Philly. There's no chance that he stays in Philly. Milton Williams, same deal. Not going to stay in Philly. They want to. They're going to want money. But players like Zach Bond, who are going to want like max deals because dude had one of the best linebacker seasons I've ever seen.
Yeah.
It gives the Eagles the opportunity to re-sign all of those guys and more. So like the Eagles are gonna extend whoever they want to. I mean, what else are they gonna do?
Our players are gonna want to go there too. Super Bowl champions. They see like the happiness on the players' faces. Like Saquon Barkley just brought like a light to that team. I feel like.
Yeah, he absolutely did. He brought a light to the team, the city. I mean, he said there was a quote the other day. It was like, I know I was a Giant for I think it was like 6 or 7 years, but now I want to be remembered as an Eagle. It tells you a lot about his character. It tells you a lot about him as a player. And he's a good leader, and that's what there's nothing more you can look for a player like that.
And he was not treated well in the Giants.
Nope.
That was just a waste of his career.
It was.
He still got time, but
he has enough. He will 100% this season. It will be better than the last one. He's going to break the rushing record.
Oh yeah,
he's going to. But then like the Ravens too, like Kyle Hamilton. Obviously, that dude. I mean, he's something.
Yeah.
You got to re-sign him soon.
Yeah, 100%. If you don't re-sign him, that would just.
I mean, that would be a dagger to the heart. Like you guys would not have as good of a defense.
Yeah, no.
It's like last year the Eagles lost C.J. Gardner-Johnson. He came back this year. He added leadership. So much better of a defense, right?
Yeah.
If Kyle Hamilton leaves the Ravens, they're just gonna. I mean, it's gonna get worse and worse.
They still have Roquan Smith though too. If either of the two leave, it's just done.
True.
Roquan's gonna retire eventually because he's been in the league for a little bit.
How old Lamar? Do you know? Like high 20s.
27.
27. Okay, so he's still pretty young. Lamar's got time. Lamar's gonna win one. I know he will.
Yeah.
Lamar will win one. I don't know if it'll be within the next 5 years. He'll win one.
Get one though. He's got a lot of time.
And I hot take, Josh Allen and Lamar. People want them to stay. Like they want Josh Allen to stay on the Bills. Lamar will stay on the Ravens. They won't. I think the only quarterbacks who will never be let go of their teams are Patrick Mahomes and Jalen Hurts.
Oh, yeah.
I think that Joe Burrow and Jaden Daniels also have a case for that. But Josh and Lamar, they're special, but like it's going to come to a point where their teams are so good, they're not like they're going to prioritize paying them. But you don't want to stay in a team that's losing so much. Like Lamar, I guarantee you, I don't want to say it like because I love the Ravens, but like if Lamar goes to another team, he's succeeding much more than the Ravens.
Yeah, I'm a Ravens fan myself. I just feel like he's just being wasted a little bit, even as a Ravens fan.
Yeah. But yeah, the cap space, that's a big one. And then I want them to change the kickback. The kick was stupid to change.
I agree.
And then, the game shouldn't end in a tie. I mean, people have talked about that forever. Now, in college, a little different.
Yeah.
Because in the NFL, it's a bunch of guys who are the best at their position in all of college. And it's not a shootout. So, like, college, like, dude, they're converting, like, 4th and 50. Like, the NFL, you can't even convert, like, 3rd and 10. So, a bunch of guys overexerting their body for what could be another 2 hours. I mean, it's not a great idea, but, like, if you play all that game, you don't want to go home tied.
Yeah, that's just not a good feeling. And for the people watching the game, paid a ticket. You don't want to go home not winning or not losing.
Yeah, I agree.
This doesn't feel like a finished game.
I agree. So I think that is all we got for you. Thank you guys so much for listening. And we will see you next time.